Church Clips, Episode 3. Welcome to the Junto Podcast. That's right, the Together Podcast. Now, before we get started, please hit follow, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do on the video so you can keep up with these clips. Now, Church Clips is a deviation, not a deviation, but a segment, I would say, from the podcast we've been doing. It's a branch. It's a branch off the podcast. Typical or different from the typical podcast stuff we do, where we look at something that has to do with spirituality, maybe the culture of Christianity right now, maybe things happening in the church, but maybe things happening outside of the church that relate to the life of a believer. And so these church clips are a deep dive, if not a deep dive, certainly a conversation about some things that we find interesting. And I think we started doing this because I feel like there needs to be an awareness, or, we get so lost and we go to church, but we don't know how can we really in ministry speak to the things that people are thinking, what they're seeing on social media, if we don't discuss, look, and talk about those things ourselves.
Right, yeah. We process all those things just like anybody else, and I think it's good to have conversation about it and just see where people stand and what they think, and how can we, of course, go to the Bible and make sense of all that's going on and all that's happening. So I'm excited about today because I got to pick the
Girl, you got to pick these clips. I know, and that's pretty phenomenal. So I'm going in blind.
I can't believe you trust me. Maybe you don't trust me.
I don't know that I do. We'll find out after this week if these clips are any good. Like, this is going to be a good test. By the way,
one and done.
I hope you trimmed them and all that, because I normally...
You didn't test?
No, because then I would have to listen to it. How can I go in blind if I got to edit it and listen to it?
Sorry, y'all. I feel like I did well.
I hope so. Well, we're going to find out today. It's going to be the test.
It's a lot of pressure.
Do you want to set up any of the clips? I try to,
I'll set up this first one.
Okay.
It's a husband and wife, and they have their own podcast. They have their own talk show that they do, and of course, biblically sound Christian. They've been married for I don't know how many, quite some time, so they've got some experience, and I like listening to them because they've got good stuff.
Oh,
so
okay.
This is one of their conversations about changing your spouse.
Changing your spouse. Are they trying to get your spouse to change, or how we can't change them?
You'll find out.
We'll find out. Here we go.
Yeah.
So that will set up the clip. I'm going to go ahead and play this now. Do you know their names?
Hey. Last name, it's Ken and...
Something Clayton.
Claytor. I'm probably saying it wrong. Claytor.
We'll put it in the comments anyway, or in the description once we release this. But anyways, I'm going in blind. Let's see if we can get some discussion going about husband and wife type things. Here we go.
What is the one thing about me that you would like to change?
I don't know if I have something that I would change about you.
You preaching and you ain't even preaching.
I don't have those thoughts in my prayer time. If I'm praying for you, my prayer is to not God change him, but God help me to understand the man that you created. Wow. Help me understand his past, how he grew up, what he experiences in his day to manifest the words that he says, the emotions that he has. God help me to understand him. So I don't really have anything that I would change about you.
Here's the principle, is that many times we want to change our spouse into being us. And that's where a lot of fights is breaking out, because truthfully, most people want to make their spouse them. For example, many times when I get frustrated with you, it's like because you're late and I'm on time, or I think that my kind of time is the best kind of time. But you've never not gotten on stage on time. You've never not been prepared to preach a message. Everything that you do, you still get it done. You just don't do it like I would do it. There is a temptation for me to change you to want to be me. For you to say there's nothing that you would want to change about me is really a principle that can help so many people, because so many people have so many things about their spouse they want to change. Instead of saying, God, change me to be able to handle my spouse.
Right.
They want to change somebody else. And this is what we've learned, is that you can never change another human being. Only God can change that person.
Great stuff there. And since you picked the clip, I'll start off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Great things. I can relate to that so much. First of all, it's refreshing to hear that it seems like there are things that maybe are prone to, there's maybe certain things men do or some things women do when he's talking about the time, and so immediately we could relate to that. But he did go on to say, when it comes to crunch time, when it comes to getting things done, you're never not going to get it done. It's just not the way I would do it. And I would say, just being transparent here, a lot of the arguments, a lot of the miscommunication we have do revolve around these types of things because our personalities are different. We process information different. I can be a little bit intense. I always say I'm playing chess, not checkers. So I want to be not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 steps ahead if I can. And so that can be a little bit intense, and your brain processes things a little bit differently. It's not that it's wrong or it's
slower. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm just saying different. Look, I'm not putting anywhere.
I'm being facetious.
Yeah, so that's you being facetious. So I totally agree, and I understand with what they're saying. That is the temptation. We want to make people in our image. And at the end of the day, we can't. I think she had a lot of good nuggets there talking about how you have to pray for your spouse to get better understanding on them. And let's just be honest. That's just something we don't do.
No, but our first inclination is, man, why does he do that? Urgh, why does she do that? And I think, like what she said, with God, help me to understand his past, like what the experiences that he had growing up, all these things, because everything affects the way that we interact with people,
everything.
the way that we interact and do things ourselves. And I think we forget and we don't spread the grace because we don't understand it. We're like, why is he acting like that? Why is he so passionate right now? You know?
Yeah.
And so stepping back and saying, God, help me to understand the man you created, and you've put us together in this union. Help me to be able to be that yin and yang to make the pieces work, I guess.
Yeah, and continuing on, because we're doing this because we want to be able to relate this, and obviously they relate to us, so maybe the things that we're going to say can relate to you.
Right.
I think a lot of the arguments we've had, you've heard me say this, and I know I do it too, but I always say, it's as if I say something and then you try to create the meaning of what I'm saying, even though that's not what I'm saying at all, but because you have a preconceived notion. And that goes back to that, to me, the same premise is that you already think you know what I'm thinking, and you're so adamant, you're so right, and even though you're wrong. And so I say that to say
who's
that...
Who's right, who's wrong?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Well, I think, though, the point to this is without praying for the understanding or without having the empathy or without taking the time, then you're automatically going to default to thinking to thinking you know what they're thinking, to thinking you really know what they're saying, how they really feel. And it takes away from the other person because they're not getting to fully express what they mean because you've already assigned meaning to what they're trying to say or do.
Yeah, I get that. We do. We run into that quite often because, I mean, how long have we been married? 23, 24? Is this 24 years?
It's
I think it's
Lord Jesus, it's a long time.
So we feel like we do know each other a lot, but I think sometimes we feel like we know everything about each other.
That's exactly right.
Because of patterns and the ways that we've always done things and
that's right.
Notice, experiences.
That's right.
And so sometimes we feel like, well, I can't learn anything new about him. I know it all. And I know everything he's thinking and why he's saying what he's saying.
Yeah.
When, as we grow, we do know that we evolve, we change, we mature and grow up. So I think we have to extend grace there as well for each other and try to listen, try to be understanding, pray.
Yeah.
Above all else.
I think a lot of it too, though, is because you said something about patterns. Because we have been hurt, maybe by our spouse or someone in the past, it's a defense mechanism as well. Because let's just be honest, if I have to give in and if I have to be nice and if I have to, then it means I'm having to chop down this wall that I've created, and this wall is here to protect myself. And so that's another reason why we do those things. It's not only about not knowing your spouse, or of course there's always more to learn, but it's a defense mechanism. And so as long as that's there, you're going to take the patterns, take the past, take the trauma, take the things that have happened, and because of that, you're going to assign meaning, you're going to assign value, and you're not really going to be able to fully accept. And so it's a cycle that goes around. Somebody might be trying to be empathetic and real, but because you can't accept that because you've been hurt in the past, and I'm not saying you, I just mean generally speaking, you're not gonna let that in. You're not gonna let it in.
Yeah.
And so what's the other person gonna do? They're just gonna get pissed off. I mean, we being real up in here. They're gonna be mad that they can't break through the wall. So guess what? They're not even gonna try
Endless
anymore.
cycle.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Yeah. So we got to pray to break down those walls. Pray for understanding. Pray that we can be open-minded and understand that we don't always know what the other person is thinking or meaning by what they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to listen for understanding instead of, okay, hurry up and finish what you're saying so I can say what I can say.
Right.
I'm just listening so I can respond back to you.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's good. That is crazy. She said there was nothing she would want to change.
Really
I mean, my goodness. And I'm assuming you feel the exact same way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously you feel the exact same way.
Nothing I would change whatsoever.
You know, this brings home a point, and that is this. We've been married, as you said, 24 years. And if we know that in that length of time, we haven't yet had the capacity or capability to change the other one yet. So
it ain't happening.
It ain't happening.
Never going to happen.
What is our alternative? What is our option? We do have to pray for understanding. We have to bring in the word. We can't, we have to start filtering our spouses through the word of God. And that's hard to do. It's very hard to do if you're not in the word. Personally or together.
Impossible.
Yeah. And so you can make excuses. We do it all the time. We have 4 kids. We're busy. And we get the word in, but not like we should. No. You know, I listen to it a lot more in the car, things of that nature.
We can do better.
We can always do better. But if we're not filtering our emotions, our spouses, how we feel about them, because I'm going to tell you, y'all, it gets tough. I mean, every family dynamic is a little bit different, but we've got 4 kids. We're getting on up there in age a little bit. People our age are already beginning to empty nest. We're not that old, but I'm just saying we got littles too.
We're
getting close. So I'm saying that I think that we have to begin, you have to build that relationship. That way when you are empty nested, man, there's an actual solid relationship with husband and wife that includes the kids, but it's not just the foundation isn't just the kids.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that kind of ties into our last church clip.
Oh, does it? Well,
about the kids. It's not can't always be about the kids. Putting them number one.
So before we segue, it sounds like that will be a natural segue. But did you have any other thoughts? Because I think that was. Well, I mean, and the thing is,
just do it because it's natural.
Well, I didn't know it was about kids because remember, I'm going in blind this week, which I like.
Right.
I like.
Right. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
Okay,
to the next
so we're ready
one.
to do it. No thoughts, no final thoughts. We're good on that one.
I had some things, but I think we're good.
You sure?
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Man, you feel better?
I feel better.
Okay, good deal.
Better about it.
All right, here we go. Everybody, not everybody, but
this
most.
Yep. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say most are familiar with Craig Groeschel, Life Church.
Yeah.
They created the YouVersion app, the Bible app. So, but did you want to set it up, or do you have any thoughts about it?
This one, as you said, is a natural segue. He is talking about kids and parenting. So, let's just do it.
Let's just do it. Okay.
Hear it.
One of the big mistakes that a lot of parents make is that anytime they find out something about their kids that they don't like, they tend to overreact. Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were running around with them and you watched that and you did that and you struggled with that. And the moment you do that, you shut down communication immediately. And so what I really worked hard with my kids to do was to keep the communication flowing. And so I endured a lot of things that kind of emotionally would trigger me and make me upset, and tried to keep my emotions calm and keep the conversation going. And what I found is by doing that early, we were able to talk about very intimate things, about sexual integrity and about lust and about all sorts of different things, because early on we learned not to overreact, to keep the conversation flowing.
Yeah. Wow, that's really good. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I wanted to give you the opportunity. I felt like you picked the clip and that spoke to you to some degree. So let's hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, as we said, we've got our older girls who are they're not teens anymore. They're young adults. They're out of the teen stage. And so you get into the season where they're making their own decisions. They have their friends and their own community and things. And it's at the age where things start to, choices have to be made. They have choices daily. And so I think for me, I, in the past, have been that very reactive, like, what? Like, I want my girls to feel comfortable to come to me, that I'm not going to, like, completely destroy them for a bad mistake or something. Like, I want them to be open and feel like they can tell me something, and I'm not going to just completely lose my mind.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's wisdom, and it is a different season because it's not as much of like you've raised them to this point, right? And you're not making all their decisions for them anymore.
Yeah.
And so you have to approach it differently.
Exactly.
Than like, no, you got to do this. This is how you're supposed to do it. Like, no, this is the right way. Like, no option. Like, I don't know. It's a hard spot. It's a hard season right now with the older young adults in the house.
It takes me back to the first clip because the same thing we do with spouses. I probably do this more with my kids and that is expecting them to do things like me or expecting them to be where I was at that age. Yeah. Because I'm going to be honest, I was exposed to a lot of things very young.
He was in the streets.
I was in the streets. Y'all, when I was 16, my brother was in a bad wreck. My parents moved from Hope, Arkansas, here to West Memphis, where we are now. I was 16, and I lived there for 3 months by myself to finish school. Y'all, I was living on ramen noodles, and now I don't blame mom and dad. We were poor. Dad was in ministry. Lots of things. Too much to go into. But because of my experiences in life, I felt like it made me have to grow up really quick. And so when I see my older ones especially, they're not in this certain place where, hey, I want them to be or expect them to be. My natural reaction is I get upset. I'll be honest, like I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see some maturity. I'm ready to see some growth. I'm ready to see you owning your life and doing what has to be done and sucking it up and knowing that it's hard, but life is hard and we got to do it. And so that's where, for me, the struggle comes in. And as it relates to the conversation that Craig is saying here about not blowing up, that's where I tend to get frustrated. And so it's typically not me reacting about something they've done because we've got great kids. Where I tend to be more reactive is in where they are now and where I would like to see them.
As far as handling their business.
Yeah, just being grown, man, getting it done. And I understand they didn't have my experiences. They didn't have my life. Praise God, they had a great life. And they weren't exposed to the things I was at an early age. So it's...
and that's a hard balance.
It's a very hard balance.
That's a hard balance. And me and you grew up completely different.
We did.
I was very...
sheltered.
Sheltered, very strict home. I remember one time... Was it 16? Maybe 14. I don't know. I wanted to go to a party with you, and I didn't get to go, so I kind of...
You were 16,
blew up on my parents, 16. So.
And you snuck out?
I did. And I eventually told my parents later on, and we laugh about it.
By the way, and just because I was the one on the streets, I did not encourage her to come. In fact,
that's true.
She's the one who reached out to me because, she's the one who reached out to me to ask because it was my family, one of my aunt's parties.
That was a different one. I'm talking about a different.
Oh, a different one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had permission to the first one.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just
where it
saying.
all started.
I never encouraged you, though, to do bad things, is what I'm saying. I never encouraged you to do anything.
It's just your existence made me want it. I'm just
still does. That's why you're still here. So, But so some good things I think we can learn about our reaction and how it is important to be able to keep the conversation going with our children. We want to create a space where they feel like they can come to us. And I think we have to learn how not to minimize our experience, but how to relate our experience to their world, because we have to remember they don't live in the same world. Yeah, lots of things are the same, but so much is different.
It is. Very true, very true. I think I read a meme, I don't know, years ago, I don't know. It said, when something happens with your child and their first instinct, you don't want it to be, oh no, mom can't find, I got to make sure mom doesn't find out. You want it to be, oh no, I've got to tell mom or dad.
Right,
you
right.
know,
Oh, that's good.
Instead of the, like, I've got to keep it secret. I can't talk to them. Like, there's no way I could talk to my parents about this. They would just lose it. Like, no, you want your kids to want to come to you and have that safe place where they know that it's going to be a hard conversation, but that you're going to have good advice and help them.
That's
in this
exactly
moment,
right.
rather than them pushing, staying away from you and hiding and all that. You don't want that.
Yeah, absolutely. And, if you do have kiddos and they don't make the mark, or if they miss the mark that you expected and they do come to you, may count that as a blessing.
Yeah.
Because the fact that they feel safe enough and vulnerable enough to know that, they might be chastised, they might be corrected, but it's all going to be done in love, and you're going to be there for them.
Yes.
And so that is priceless. And so remember, we are trying to raise healthy people. Healthy, in our case, believers founded in the Word of God, but people that can be productive and healthy. And I'm going to tell you, man, so much of our childhood baggage, it does not leave. It does not leave. I've got stuff that, like I said, because of the things that I was exposed to that I probably shouldn't have been at an early age, guess what? Those things are still, you still battle them. You know what I'm saying? Like, so those are things that you carry into adulthood. And so we want to be able to create a space with our children where, hey, they know they're loved, and they'll be able to heal if they do miss the mark on some things.
And they know that you, as an adult, that you go through things and make wrong choices
100%.
too. Like not hiding the brokenness that you have from your kids, because it will strengthen them more seeing you broken and seeing you turn to God and repent and go through that process. Like, that's how they learn
100%
to cope. I mean,
That's
you don't want
exactly
your kids
right.
growing up thinking, well, I have to make sure everything looks perfect. I got to make sure, even though like I'm messed up and things are terrible right now, I got to make sure it looks good, and I can't let anyone know. That's a prison.
That is a prison.
That's not life. That's not a healthy life. I think it's better for them to see us go through things, even when, if we have an argument and things.
That's right.
Explaining, hey, me and Dad, we had this argument. I'm sorry. This is what's going on right now. Explain. This is what we're going through.
That's right.
We're praying God to help us, get us through this. We're making plans, goals, whatever. But I think it's important for them to see that, because you're developing these human beings into what they're going to be into adulthood.
And even when you do lose it, like,
right.
Here's why, because I have been so frustrated with my kids that I'll just be like, come on, I'm ready to see this. I'm ready to see growth. I'm ready. And I'll just go off. And after I've had a time to process, I'll always go back and say, Sid, so whoever it is, what I'm saying is because I love you and because I believe in you. And if you only saw what I see in you. And so a lot of times I think some of you don't have bashful kids. I wasn't bashful, and that's another thing. I don't really relate. I don't understand it. But my daughters, they can be really shy. I was the one that was talking to everybody. So that's another thing. So I have to keep that in mind too. But I always go back and I'll say, look, I may not have said it the way I wanted to, but I just want you to know what I'm saying, Sid. It's because I love you so much.
Like, and this is what I mean.
And if you would see what I see in you, and your capability and your beauty and everything else, then you would be like, oh my gosh. And so even if you do lose it, because guys, we're human, we're parents, you're going to lose it on your kids. I don't care who you are. You're going to lose it on your kids.
Yes.
But it's what you do after that. It's because everything is a teaching lesson. And like you said, I don't think we have to be ashamed or embarrassed of being real, authentic, broken people. But you always have to bring it back and explain and reinforce what you're saying with love, and that's the key right there.
Because if they grow up thinking, "Oh, my parents are perfect; they never made mistakes, and look at me, here I am messing up.
I can't live up to them."
Right? No, that's not realistic. It's not real. It's not true.
Yeah, I totally agree.
How did I do on the clips?
Man, guys, I want to say this
Be
publicly.
honest.
I am pleasantly surprised. And here's the deal.
Yeah.
Now I know you can do it. So you definitely ain't off the hook now. So I was worried. I'm like, are these videos going to be trimmed? Are they going to?
How was my trimming?
Dude, I'm impressed. Like, I'm a little bit mad that you haven't already been doing this, honestly.
You've
Like,
been doing it.
You should have been doing it.
You haven't seen my potential.
Well,
haven't let it grow.
I have asked you for the record publicly to step up so many times. And this new format, this segment of the Junto podcast that we're doing, I think it's brought something different
I see.
Out of the both of us. So now I can see you're capable and you did a good job. So
messed up,
congratulations.
Messed up.
Still learning all these years of marriage.
All these years.
Just to recap, husband and wife, don't try to change the other one necessarily. Just pray for understanding. Pray for understanding about your spouse. And like I said, we've been married a long time. I ain't been able to change her for Jack. And I know she ain't changing me because we two set in our ways.
That's true.
But I think
That's true.
the understanding.
Yeah.
The understanding is there. And you got some clarification?
Ken and Tabitha Claytor.
Claytor, Claytor.
Yes, they got good stuff. It's
Good stuff. And summing up the kids, man, create that space, be human, be able to speak your mind to your kids. And if and when you do lose it or what have you, just make sure you reinforce it with love and let them know why you feel the way you are feeling. Because man, it's because I see your potential. It's because I know you're so capable. It's because I love you. It's because you don't have the confidence.
Because
but if you
God
saw what I
created you,
God created
for these
you.
things,
Yes, for this purpose.
Your beauty's from God. Your intellect is from God. All these things because God created you that way, not because you're so awesome, but He made you this way.
That's it.
So
good stuff.
Also, I did want to point out, since I'm doing clips and doing more stuff now, do I get a microphone like yours?
Yes, you're gonna get one like me. We just got to go to Amazon.com or B&H Photo or somewhere.
Okay,
and we got to purchase a new
if
one.
we stepping up, we got to show that.
Well, listen, here, let me explain to the audience if you haven't listened to this far. So we've got our regular podcast set up behind us. Okay,
your mic is still better.
So I've got the Shure MB 36. It's the most popular one, like Joe Rogan has. But what we wanted to do, because we're using this in a different format, this is kind of more a setup created for us to go live. And so it's a separate setup. And so we left our two good mics because you do have a mic exactly like this for our regular recording.
It's a better one.
Exactly.
It's a better one.
But we had this one. And so for our live setup, girl, I'm sorry, but I'm going to get you one.
That's our goal. We got a goal.
And guys, we did this just because what we were having to do when we wanted to go live, I would have to move the mics. And I said, I can't do that anymore. It's too time consuming. So now when we want to record a regular podcast episode where we're sitting in our blue chairs, all we got to do is sit down and hit record.
We just come sit down.
And here we come sit down. See, it's evolution. We're evolving. The Junto podcast.
That's good.
Yeah. Hope you guys were encouraged by that. We're blessed. Good clips. I'm proud of you. Now that we've seen what you can do, you're going to be doing a lot more of it. And good conversations. So hope you were blessed by that on the Junto podcast. That's right, the Together podcast. If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. We're looking for your support. We got big plans for 2026. And this podcast, I just want you to know, is bearing fruit, not only in the people that listen, but even in our personal lives. Some of the things that I do outside of this, I've had some recent news that I'm going to be sharing, but it is a direct result of the work we do here at the Junto podcast. That's right, the Together podcast. So I'm encouraged. Hope you're encouraged. We'll see you next time. Who knows? And we are going to get a little not controversial, but we're going to be diving deep into some of these clips too, because man, a lot's going on out there. So see you next time on the Junto podcast. That's right, the Together podcast. Be blessed. See you later, guys. Yeah, we're trying
Together
to. It's in your brain. It's in your brain. It's not going anywhere. Be blessed, guys.